I wanted to say that I was super excited. I woke up this morning and I've got 25 subscribers. Never in my wildest dreams did I think this would happen. I thought, max maybe 10. So I love you guys, and I am loving that you guys are enjoying this book with me. So, anyway, we're going to get back into it. I know that it's been getting into the goods, so I won't make you wait anymore. So, without further ado, I am number 4 by Pittacus Lore, Chapter 19. While I wait for Sam, I walk through the house, lifting inanimate objects up in the air without touching them. An apple from the kitchen counter, a fork in the sink, a small potted plant sitting beside the front window. I can only lift the small things, and they rise in the air somewhat timidly. When I try for something heavier, a chair, a table, nothing happens. The 3 tennis balls Henry and I use for training sit in a basket on the other side of the living room. I bring one of them to me, and as it crosses his line of sight, Bernie Kosar stands at attention. Then I throw it without touching it, and he sprints after it. But before he can get it, I pull it back. Or when he does manage to get it, I pull it from his mouth, all while sitting in the chair in the living room. It keeps my mind from Henry, from the harm that may have found him, and from the guilt of the lies I'll have to tell Sam. It takes him 25 minutes to ride his bike the 4 miles to my house. I hear him ride up the drive. He jumps off of it and it crashes to the ground while he runs through the front door without knocking, out of breath. His face is streaked with sweat. He looks around and surveys the scene. "So what's up?" he asks. "This is going to sound absurd to you," I say, "but you have to promise to take me seriously." "What are you talking about?" What am I talking about? I'm talking about Henry. He's disappeared because of carelessness, the same carelessness he has always preached against. I'm talking about the fact that when you had that gun on me, I told you the truth. I am an alien. Henry and I came to Earth 10 years ago, and we're being hunted by a malicious race of aliens. I'm talking about Henry thinking that he could somehow evade them by understanding them a little more, and now he's gone. That is what I'm talking about, Sam. Do you understand? But no, I can't tell him any of these things. My dad's been captured, Sam. I'm not entirely sure by who or what is being done to him, but something has happened, and I think he's being held prisoner, or worse. A grin spreads on his face. "Get out of here," he says. I shake my head and close my eyes. The gravity of the situation, again, makes it difficult to breathe. I turn and stare pleadingly at Sam. Tears well up in my eyes. I'm not kidding. Sam's face becomes stricken. "What do you mean? Who's captured him? Where is he?" "He tracked the writer of one of the articles in your magazine back to Athens, Ohio, and he went there today. He went there and he hasn't come back. His phone is off. Something's happened to him. Something bad." Sam becomes more confused. "What? Why would he care? I'm missing something. It's just some stupid paper." "I don't know, Sam. He's like you. He loves aliens and conspiracy theories and all that stuff," I say, thinking quickly. "It's always been a stupid hobby of his. One of the articles piqued his interest, and I guess he wanted to know more, so he drove down." "Was it the article on the Mogadorians?" I nod. "How did you know?" "Because he looked like he'd seen a ghost when I mentioned it on Halloween," he says, and he shakes his head. "But why would somebody care if he asked questions about a stupid article?" "I don't know. I would imagine these people aren't the sanest in the world. They're probably paranoid and delusional. Maybe they thought he was an alien, the same reason you aimed a gun at me. He was supposed to be home by 1 and his phone is off. That's all I can say." I stand and walk to the kitchen table. I grab the slip of paper with the address and phone number of where Henry is gone. "This is where he went today," I say. "Do you have any idea where it is?" He looks at the slip, then at me. "You want to go there?" "I don't know what else to do." "Why can't you just call the cops and tell them what happened?" I sit down on the couch, thinking of the best way to respond. I wish I could tell him the truth, that the best case scenario with the cops getting involved would be Henry and I leaving. The worst case would be Henry being questioned, maybe fingerprinted, thrust into the sluggish-paced bureaucracy, which would give the Mogadorians a chance to move. And once they find us, death is imminent. Call which cops? The ones in Paradise? What do you think they would do if I told them the truth? It would take days for them to take me seriously, and I don't have days. Sam shrugs. They might take you seriously. Besides, what if he just got held up or his phone broke? He might be on his way home now. Maybe. But I don't think so. Something feels off, and I have to get there as soon as possible. He was supposed to be home hours ago. Maybe he got into an accident. I shake my head. Maybe you're right, but I don't think you are, and if he's being harmed, then we're wasting time. Sam looks at the sheet of paper. He bites his lip and remains silent for 15 seconds. Well, I know vaguely how to get to Athens. No idea how to get to this address once we're there, though. I can print directions from the internet. I'm not worried about that. The thing I'm worried about is transportation. I have $120 in my room. I could pay someone to drive us, but I have no idea who I would ask. There aren't exactly a whole lot of taxis in Paradise, Ohio. We can take our truck. What truck? I mean, my dad's truck. We still have it. It's sitting in the garage. It hasn't been touched since he disappeared. I look at him. Are you serious? He nods. How long has it been there? Does it even still run? 8 years. Why wouldn't it still run? It was nearly new when he bought it. Wait, let me get this right. You're suggesting we drive them there ourselves, me and you, 2 hours to Athens. Sam's face twists into a devious smile. That's exactly what I'm suggesting. I lean forward on the sofa. I can't help but smile as well. You know, we'll be in deep shit if we get caught, right? Neither of us has our license. Sam nods. My mom will kill me, and she'll maybe kill you too. And then there's the law. But yeah, if you really think your dad's in trouble, what other choice do we have? If the roles were reversed and it was my dad who was in trouble, I'd go in a second. I look at Sam. There isn't an ounce of hesitation on his face in his suggesting that we drive illegally to a town 2 hours away, and that's not to mention that neither of us knows how to drive and that we have no idea what to expect once getting there. And yet, Sam is on board. It was his idea, even. All right, then. Let's drive to Athens, I say. I throw my phone in my bag, make sure everything is zipped and in order. Then I walk through the house, taking everything in as though it will be the last time I see any of it. It's foolish thinking, and I know I'm merely being sentimental, but I'm nervous. And there's a sort of calming sensation to it. I pick up things, then I set them down. After 5 minutes, I'm ready. Let's go, I say to Sam. You want to ride on the back of my bike? You ride. I'll jog alongside. What about your asthma? I think I'll be okay. We leave. He gets on his bike. He tries to ride as fast as he can, but he's not in great shape. I jog a few feet behind and pretend that I'm winded. Bernie follows us as well. By the time we get to his house, Sam is dripping with sweat. Sam runs into his room and comes out with a backpack. He sets it on the kitchen counter and goes to change his clothes. I peer inside of it. There's a crucifix, a few cloves of garlic, a wooden stake, a hammer, a blob of silly putty, and a pocket knife. You do realize these people aren't vampires, right? I say when Sam walks back in. Yeah, but you never know. They're probably crazy, like you said. And even if we were hunting vampires, what the hell is the silly putty for? He shrugs. Just want to be prepared. I pour a bowl of water for Bernie Kosar and he laps it all up immediately. I change clothes in the bathroom and remove the door-to-door directions from my bag. Then I walk out and through the house and into the garage, which is dark and smells of gasoline and old grass clippings. Sam flips on the light. Various tools have rusted with disuse and hang on the pegboard walls. The truck sits in the center of the garage, covered with a large blue tarp that's coated with a thick layer of dust. How long has it been since this tarp was removed? Not since Dad went missing. I grab one corner, Sam takes the other, and together we peel it away and I set it in the corner. Sam stares at the truck, his eyes big, a smile on his face. The truck is small, dark blue, room inside for only 2 people, or maybe a third if they don't mind an uncomfortable ride sitting in the center. It will be perfect for Bernie Kosar. None of the dust from the past 8 years has made it onto the truck, so it sparkles as though it was recently waxed. I throw my bag into the bed. My dad's truck, Sam says proudly. All these years, it looks exactly the same. Our golden chariot, I say. Do you have the keys? He walks to the side of the garage and lifts a set of keys from a hook on the wall. I unlock the garage door and open it. Do you want a paper, rock, scissors to see who drives? I ask. Nope, Sam says, and then he unlocks the driver's door and gets in behind the wheel. The engine cranks over and finally starts. He rolls down the window. I think my dad would be proud to see me driving it, he says. I smile. I think so too. Pull it out and I'll close the door. He takes a deep breath and then puts the truck in drive and slowly, timidly inches it out of the garage. He hits the brakes too hard too soon and the truck slams to a stop. You aren't all the way out yet, I say. He eases his foot off the brake and then inches the rest of the way out. I close the garage door behind him. Bernie Kosar jumps up and in of his own volition, and I slide in beside him. Sam's hands are white-knuckled at the 10 and 2 positions of the wheel. Nervous? I ask. Terrified. You'll be fine, I say. We've both seen it done 1,000 times before. He nods. Okay. Which way do I turn out of the driveway? We really going to do this? Yes, he says. We turn right then, I say, and head in the direction away from town. We both buckle our seatbelts. I crack the window enough so that Bernie Kosar can fit his head out, which he does immediately, standing with his hind legs in my lap. I'm scared shitless, Sam says. Me too. He takes a deep breath, holds the air in his lungs, and then slowly exhales. And away we go, he says, taking his foot off the brake when he says the last word. The truck goes bouncing down the driveway. He hits the brakes once and we skid to a stop. Then he starts again and inches down the drive, more slowly this time until he stops at the end of it, looks both ways and then turns out onto the road. Again, slow at first, then gaining speed. He's tense, leaning forward, and then after a mile a grin begins to form on his face and he leans back. This isn't so hard. You're natural. He keeps the truck close to the painted line on the right side of the road. He tenses every time a car passes in the opposite direction. But after a while he relaxes and pays the other cars little attention. He makes one turn, then another, and in 25 minutes we pull onto the interstate. I can't believe we're doing this, Sam finally says. This is the craziest shit I've ever done. Me too. Do you have any plan when we get there? None whatsoever. I'm hoping we'll be able to scope the place out and go from there. I have no idea if it's a house or an office building or what. I don't even know if he is there. He nods. Do you think he's okay? I have no idea, I say. I take a deep breath. We have an hour and a half to go. Then we'll reach Athens. Then we'll find Henry. Okay, so that was the end of chapter 19. I really want to read chapter 20, but we're at 13 minutes. We only have 7 minutes to go. If I want to keep it in this time frame, even though I know a lot of you are okay with it going over. So I thank you for that, and I'm super excited. So maybe I'll read this and let this video be a little bit longer. Okay, so we're going to get 2 chapters in one video. Chapter 20. We drive south until nestled in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Athens comes into view. A small city sprouting through the trees. In the waning light, I can see a river curling gently around that seems to cup the city, serving as the border to the east, south, and west, and to the north lie hills and trees. The temperature is relatively warm for November. We pass the college football stadium. A white domed arena stands a little beyond it. Take this exit, I say. Sam guides the truck off the interstate and turns right onto Richland Avenue. Both of us are elated we made it in one piece, and without being caught. So, this is what a college town looks like, huh? I guess so, Sam says. Buildings and dorms are on each side of us. The grass is green, meticulously trimmed even though it's November. We drive up a steep hill. At the top of this is Court Street. We want to turn left. How far are we? Sam asks. Less than a mile. Do you want to drive by it first? No. I think we should park the first opportunity we get and walk. We drive down Court Street, which is the main artery in the center of town. Everything is closed for the holiday. Bookstores, coffee houses, bars. Then I see it. standing out like a jewel. "Stop," I say. Sam slams on the brakes. "What?" A car honks behind us. "Nothing, nothing. Keep driving. Let's park." We drive another block until we find a lot to park in. By my guess, we are a 5-minute walk at most from the address. "What was that? You scared the crap out of me." "Henry's truck is back there," I say. Sam nods. "Why do you sometimes call him Henry?" "I don't know. I just do. Sort of a joke between us," I say, and look at Bernie Kosar. "Do you think we should take him?" Sam shrugs. "He might get in the way." I give Bernie Kosar a few treats and leave him in the truck with the window cracked. He's not happy about it and begins whining and scratching at the window. But I don't think we'll be long. Sam and I walk back up Court Street, the straps of my bag pulled over my shoulders, Sam holding his in his hand. He has removed the silly putty and is squeezing it like people do with those foam balls when they're stressed. We reach Henry's truck. The doors are locked. There's nothing of importance on the seats or dash. "Well, this means 2 things," I say. "Henry is still here, and whoever has him hasn't discovered his truck yet, which means he hasn't talked, not that he ever would." "What would he say if he talked?" For a brief moment, I'd forgotten that Sam knows nothing of Henry's true reasons for being here. I've already slipped and called him Henry. I need to be careful not to reveal anything else. "I don't know," I say. "I mean, who knows what sorts of questions these weirdos are asking?" "Okay, now what?" I pull out the map to the address Henry had given me that morning. "We walk," I say. We walk back the way we came. The buildings end and houses begin, unkempt and dirty looking. In no time at all, we reach the address and stop. I look at the slip of paper, then at the house. I take a deep breath. "This is us," I say. We stand looking up at the 2-story house with gray vinyl siding. The front walk leads to an unpainted front porch with a broken swing hanging unevenly to the side. The grass is long and untended. It looks uninhabited, but there is a car in the driveway at the rear. I don't know what to do. I remove my phone. It's 11:12. I call Henry even though I know he won't answer. It's an attempt to establish my wits, to come up with a plan. I hadn't thought this far ahead, and now that the reality is here, my mind is blank. My call goes straight to voicemail. "Let me go knock on the door," Sam says. "And say what?" "I don't know. Whatever comes to my mind." But he doesn't get a chance to because just then a man walks out of the front door. He's huge, at least 6'6", 250 pounds. He has a goatee and his head is shaved. He's wearing work boots, blue jeans, and a black sweatshirt pulled up to his elbows. There's a tattoo on his right forearm, but I'm too far away to see what it is. He spits into the yard, then turns around and locks the front door. Walking off the porch and heading our way, I stiffen as he approaches. The tattoo is of an alien holding a bouquet of tulips in one hand, as though offering them to some unseen entity. Then the man walks right past us without saying a word. Sam and I turn and watch him go. "Did you see his tattoo?" I ask. "Yeah. And so much for the stereotype of scrawny nerds being the only ones fascinated by aliens. That man is huge. The mean looking." "Take my phone, Sam." "What? Why?" he asks. "You have to follow him. Take my phone. I'll go into the house. It's obvious there's nobody there, or he wouldn't have locked the door. Henry might be in there. I'll call you as soon as I can." "How are you going to call me?" "I don't know. I'll find a way. Here." He reluctantly takes it. "What if Henry isn't in there?" "That's why I want you to follow that guy. He might be going to Henry now." "What if he comes back?" "We'll figure it out, but you have to go now. I promise. I'll call you the first chance I get." Sam turns and looks at the man. He's 50 yards away from us now. Then he looks back at me. "Okay, I'll do it, but be careful in there." "You be careful too. Don't let him out of your sight, and don't let him see you." "Not a chance." He turns and hurries after the man. I watch them go, and once they vanish from sight, I walk up to the house. The windows are dark, each one covered with a white shade. I can't see in. I walk around to the back. There's a small concrete patio leading to the back door, which is locked. I walk the rest of the way around the house. Overgrown weeds and bushes left over from summer. I try a window. Locked. All of them are locked. Should I break one? I look for rocks among the brambles, and the second I see one and lift it from the ground with my mind, an idea occurs to me, an idea so crazy that it just might work. I drop the rock and walk to the back door. It has a simple lock, no deadbolt. I take a deep breath, close my eyes in concentration, and grab hold of the doorknob. I give it a shake. My thoughts move from head to heart to stomach. Everything is centered there. My grip tightens. My breath is held in anticipation as I try to envision the inner workings. Then I feel and hear a click in the hand holding the knob. A smile forms on my face. I turn the knob and the door swings open. I can't believe I can unlock doors by imagining what is inside of them. The kitchen is surprisingly clean. The surface is wiped down, the sink free of dirty dishes. A new loaf of bread sits on the counter. I walk through a narrow corridor into a living room with sports posters and banners on the walls. A big screen TV sitting in a corner. The door to a bedroom is off to the left side. I poke my head in. It's in a state of disarray, covers thrown aside on the bed, clutter atop the dresser, the foul stench of dirty laundry covered in sweat that has never dried. At the front of the house, beside the door, a flight of stairs ascends to the second level. I begin walking up them. The third step groans under my foot. "Hello?" A voice yells from the top of the stairs. I freeze, holding my breath. "Frank? Is that you?" I stay silent. I hear somebody stand from a chair, the creak of footsteps on a hardwood floor approaching. A man appears at the top of the stairs, dark, shaggy hair, sideburns, an unshaven face. Not as big as the man who left earlier, but not exactly small either. "Who the hell are you?" he asks. "I'm looking for a friend of mine," I say. He screws his face up into a scowl, vanishes, and reappears 5 seconds later holding a wooden baseball bat in his hand. "How did you get in here?" he asks. "I'd put that bat down if I were you. How did you get in here?" "I'm faster than you are, and I'm far stronger." "Like hell you are." "I'm looking for a friend of mine. He came here this morning. I want to know where he is." "You're one of them, aren't you?" "I don't know who you're talking about." "You're one of them!" he screams. He holds the bat as a baseball player would, both white-knuckled hands at the thin base poised to swing. There's genuine fear in his eyes. His jaw is tightly clenched. "You're one of them! Why don't you just leave us alone already?" "I'm not one of them. I've come for my friend. Tell me where he is." "Your friend's one of them." "No, he isn't. So you know who I'm talking about." "Yes." He takes a step down. "I'm warning you," I say. "Drop the bat and tell me where he is." My hands are shaking from the uncertainty of the situation, from the fact that he has a bat in his hands while I have nothing but my own abilities. I'm unnerved by the fear in his eyes. He takes another step down. There are only 6 stairs between us. "I'm going to take your head off. That'll send your friends a message." "They aren't my friends, and I assure you, you'd be doing them a favor if you hurt me." "Let's see then," he says. He comes racing down the stairs. There's nothing I can do but react. He swings the bat. I duck and it hits the wall with a thud, leaving a large splintered hole in the wood panel. I come up after him and lift him in the air, one hand gripping his throat, the other in his armpit, carrying him back up the stairs. He flails, landing kicks to my legs and groin. The bat drops from his hands. It bounces hollowly down the stairs, and I hear one of the windows break behind me. The second floor is a wide-open loft. It is dark. The walls are covered with the issues of They Walk Among Us, and where the issues end, alien paraphernalia takes up the rest. But unlike Sam's, the posters are actual photographs taken over the years, blown up and grainy, so that it is hard to make them out. Mostly white blips on black backdrops. A rubber alien dummy with a noose around its neck sits in the corner. Somebody has added a Mexican sombrero to its head. Glow-in-the-dark stars are stuck to the ceiling. They seem out of place, more like something belonging in a 10-year-old girl's room. I throw the man to the ground. He scoots away from me and stands up. When he does, I put all of my power into the pit of my stomach and direct it towards him with a hard, forward thrusting motion, and he goes flying backwards and crashes into the wall. "Where is he?" I ask. "I'll never tell you. He's one of you." "I'm not who you think I am. You guys will never succeed. Just leave Earth alone." I lift my hands and choke him. I can feel the flexed tendons beneath my hands, even though I'm not touching him. He can't breathe and his face turns red. I let go. "I'll ask again." "No." I choke him once more, but this time, when his face turns red, I squeeze tighter. When I let go, he begins to cry, and I feel bad for him, for what I've done to him. But he knows where Henry is, has done something to him, and my sympathy ends almost as soon as it begins. After he catches his breath and between sobs, he says, "He's downstairs." "Where?" "I didn't see him." "In the basement. The door's behind the Steelers banner in the living room." I dial my phone number from the telephone atop the middle desk. Sam doesn't answer. Then I pull the phone from the wall and break it in half. "Give me your cell phone," I say. "I don't have one." I walk to the dummy and remove the noose from around its neck. "Come on, man," he pleads. "Shut up. You've kidnapped my friend. You're holding him against his will. You're lucky all I'm doing is tying you up." I pull his arms behind him and tie the rope tightly around them, then tie him to one of the chairs. I don't think that it will hold him for very long. Then I duct tape his mouth shut so that he can't yell, and I sweep down the stairs and rip the Steelers banner from the wall, revealing a black door that is locked. I unlock it as I did the other. A set of wooden stairs leads down to total darkness. The smell of mildew reaches my nose. I flip the light switch on and begin walking down, slowly, terrified at what I might find. The rafters are littered with cobwebs. I reach the bottom and immediately feel the presence of somebody else. Somebody there with me. I stiffen, take a deep breath, and then turn. There, in the corner of the basement, sits Henry. "Henry!" He is squinting from the light, his eyes adjusting. A length of duct tape is across his mouth. His hands are bound behind him, his ankles tied to the legs of the chairs in which he is sitting. His hair is tousled, and down the right side of his face is a line of dried blood that looks almost black. The sight of it fills me with rage. I rush over to him and rip the piece of tape from his mouth. He takes a deep breath. "Thank God," he says. His voice is weak. "You were right, John. It was foolish to come here. I'm sorry. I should have listened." "Shh," I say. I bend down and begin untying his ankles. He smells like urine. I was ambushed. "How many are there?" I ask. "3. "I've tied one of them upstairs," I say. I free his ankles. He stretches his legs out and sighs with relief. "I've been in this damn chair all day." I begin working his hands free. "How in the hell did you get here?" he asks. "Sam and I came together. We drove down." "You're kidding me." "I had no other way." "What did you drive?" "His father's old truck." Henry is silent a minute while he ponders what that means. "He doesn't know anything," I say. "I told him aliens are a hobby of yours, nothing more." He nods. "Well, I'm happy you made it. Where is he now?" "Trailing one of them. I don't know where they went." The creak of a floorboard comes from above us. I stand, Henry's hands only halfway untied. "Did you hear that?" I whisper. We both watch the door with our breaths held. A foot steps onto the top stair, and then a second, and all at once the large man I passed earlier, the one Sam was trailing, comes into view. "The party's over, fellas," he says. He is holding a gun aimed at my face. "Now, step away." I hold my hands up in front of me and take a step back. I think of using my powers to pull the gun away. But what if somehow I cause it to fire by accident? I'm not confident in my abilities just yet. It's too risky. "They told us you might be coming, that you would look like humans, that you were the real enemy," the man says. "What are you talking about?" I ask. "They're delusional," Henry says. "They think we're the enemy." "Shut up!" the man screams. He takes the 3 steps towards me, then he moves the gun from me and fixes it straight on Henry. "One false move by you and he gets it. You understand?" "Yes," I say. "Now catch this," he says. He pulls down a roll of duct tape from the shelf beside him and throws it towards me. As it moves through the air, I stop it, suspended about 8 feet off the ground, halfway between us. I start spinning it very quickly. The man stares at it, confused. "What the—" While he's distracted, I move my arm towards him with a throwing motion. The roll of tape flies back and slams him in the nose. Blood starts gushing, and as he reaches for it, he drops the gun, which hits the ground and goes off. I point my hand towards the bullet and I make it stop, and behind me I hear Henry laugh. I move the bullet so that it hangs in front of the man's face. "Hey, fat boy," I say. He opens his eyes and sees the bullet in the air and in front of his face. "You're gonna need to bring more." I let the bullet fall to the ground at his feet. He turns to run, but I bring him back across the room and slam him against a large support pole. It knocks him out and he slumps to the floor. I grab the tape and tie him to the pole. After I'm sure he's secured, I turn to Henry and finish freeing him. "John, I think that's the best surprise I've ever seen in my entire life," he says. Such relief in his voice that I think tears might come next. I smile proudly. "Thanks. It showed at dinner." "Sorry I missed it." I told them you were tied up. He smiles. Thank God the legacy came, he says, and I realize that the stress of my legacies forming or the fear of them not forming took a far greater toll on Henry than I imagined. So what happened to you? I ask. I knocked on the door. All three of them were home. When I walked in, one of them clubbed me in the back of the head. Then I woke up in this chair. He shakes his head and says a long string of words in Lorik that I know are curses. I finish untying him and he stands and stretches his legs. We need to get out of here, he says. We have to find Sam. And then we hear him. John? You down there? Okay, that was the end of chapter 20. So this video is about 31 minutes, so not too bad. Just 10 minutes over. I hope you guys are liking it. It's getting pretty good. And the next chapter is going to be fantastic. Okay, so thank you so much for watching Reading by Ree. Until next time, bye!